Himawari Uzumaki is one of the main topics in Boruto TBV VORTEX. Well, not one of. She is the main topic of the story. And it's for great reason too. It's been hinted at early in the story, both the anime and the manga, of Himawari's massive potential, and all the build up and foreshadowing has led us up to this point. Before we get into the video, be sure to drop a quick like, as it does help the video massively in the YouTube algorithm. And make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. But without further ado, let's get right into it. I think I'll start off with Himawari's potential that was shown both in the anime and the manga, because I think that plays a pretty important role into how we gotten up to this point. Himawari was always supposed to be one of the most polarizing and important characters in the show. Just like Boruto, she is the son of Naruto Uzumaki, now the former strongest shinobi of all time, and direct reincarnation of Hagoromo's child, Ashura. Her mother is also heir to the Hyuga clan and widely known to the OTSUTSUKI as the Byakugan princess because of it. So Himawari was never meant to be a regular child, and Kishimoto never intended for her to be a background character. Up until TBV VORTEX, she just didn't have much reason to fight. She herself didn't even know if she wanted to become a shinobi at first. Her father was the Hokage and the strongest in the village, and her brother was starting to become a successful shinobi himself. Even if she never decided to become a shinobi, she still would have lived a happy, successful life just because of the family she came from. But because now Kishimoto gave Himawari her own motives to become a shinobi to help Boruto, it just made her character all that more interesting. So even before her training at the academy, she always had immense potential because of her genes. One of the first instances where we actually see Himawari in action is actually in a funny bit with her, Boruto, and Naruto. Boruto ripped her stuffed animal, so she literally activated her Byakugan for the first time and almost unalived our main protagonist. She even managed to knock out Naruto by striking one of his chakra points with extreme precision. Now, it's no secret that the anime shows way more love to Himawari than the manga, but I believe that was for good purpose. All this time they was trying to show us the potential and foreshadowing of her ability throughout the story up to this point. I know I do say this a lot, but some people still think I'm yapping. Honestly, I'm probably one of the only Boruto YouTubers, or more as the only YouTuber that pushes this narrative that anime canon gives us future concepts and ideas that will appear later in the manga. I have people constantly try to put me down because I believe this, but I really don't care because I'm a firm believer in this. We've seen it too many times now, and we just got another one. There was a time in the anime where Shukaku spent time in what I remember to be a pot of some sort. It was just to keep him hidden from Urashiki. He was entrusted to Naruto from Gaara, whom was delivered by Boruto, and somehow ended up in Himawari's care. It was then they started bonding and building some sort of friendship in their own way. Now of course, she doesn't have a relationship with Shukaku in the manga, but with Kurama. The anime only showed us that she will have some sort of connection with a tailed beast in the future. That right there is one of the concepts that I spoke about earlier. When you look at most of the anime canon to relate it to the manga, do not look at it at face value, because it's much deeper than that. Look at how Boruto had to defeat Deepa, who was a former Kara member, and he did it with a new Rasengan he developed. Any correlation to Boruto versus Code, the Uzuhiko being this new never before seen Rasengan? And yeah, Code is a former Kara member. I mean, mostly because of the death of Ishiki, but nonetheless, there is a connection there. I mean, there's many more. There's honestly enough material there to make a whole nother video on this topic alone, so I won't go too deep into it. But just look at something like this. Something as subtle as Boruto holding a Minato playing card could symbolize something in the future. You never really know what the anime is foreshadowing until it's revealed in the manga. And to me, that's what makes it even more exciting, to be honest. But even though most people miss the anime foreshadowing, the manga foreshadowing made it a bit more clearer. And I'm talking about when Damon sensed the immense power inside Himawari. I don't feel Damon was scared or anything during this interaction, but perhaps a little surprised. I mean, Himawari is just a little girl, so to feel that amount of power being radiated off someone like that is a little shocking. I'm still a little puzzled as to why Damon reacted so rash when he felt the Nine-Tails chakra inside of Himawari, just because Damon himself is nothing short of a monster in strength. But now reading chapter 10 over a few times, I may have a little better understanding as to why he reacted like that. Perhaps it wasn't the Nine Tails chakra specifically per se, but maybe a mixture of Himawari and Kurama's chakra together that was making it seem stronger than it may actually be. Or maybe her chakra could just be that strong now. In chapter 10, Kurama stated that Himawari in himself is now a single body and soul. That goes for their chakra, thoughts, emotions, etc. And on top of that, Himawari's chakra has a higher affinity to Kurama's than any other of her predecessors. Even Naruto, who up to this point thought they had maximized the potential of Kurama's power. But with this statement right here, Kishimoto is basically trying to tell us that he plans for Himawari to achieve a connection between her and Kurama that has never been seen before. But of course, let's stop and give Naruto his flowers, because without him helping Kurama overcome his hatred and setting that goalpost of Kurama's potential, none of this would be possible. But now let's look at this from an even deeper standpoint. Now that we learned that Himawari supposedly has a deeper connection to Kurama when it comes to chakra, then what exactly does that mean for her right now, and especially later down the road? In chapter 29, Naruto said something to Kawaki that I think is extremely applicable to the situation. Naruto told Kawaki that chakra's true essence is a binding force. Other than it being a power that allows them to use ninjutsu and other cool stuff, it forges connections with people. Everyone is linked together through chakra. So by this logic, when it's explained that Kurama and Himawari's chakra has a high affinity to each other, it starts to make more sense when you think about it. Since their affinity is so high, even higher than Naruto's, the potential they could reach in just pure power alone should be off the charts. You know, it kind of reminds me of the materia system in Final Fantasy VII. Let's say you have a fire materia that lets you use fire spells. Let's just say, for instance, that's Kurama's chakra. But then I add a magnify materia, which will be Himawari's chakra in this example, and I add that to the fire materia and link them together. It expands the range of the fire spells, which makes the attack stronger, and both of their chakra are compatible with each other. So say Naruto could only unlock about 85% of Kurama and his true potential as a duo. In this case, Himawari should be able to unlock 95% of that potential, possibly even more. I mean, Final Fantasy probably wasn't the best example I could have given, but I kind of wanted an excuse to talk about that game because that right there is one of my favorite games of all time, I'm not gonna lie. But back on track, when speaking about Himawari's potential with Kurama, there's a possibility she can reach levels similar to that of Baryon mode, possibly even achieving Baryon mode herself. The story introduced Baryon mode as the new peak for Kurama's power. If Kishimoto revealed that Hima and Kurama now share an even higher connection than Naruto and Kurama, then power of this magnitude should be available to Himawari. Now regarding whether or not she'll be stronger than Naruto, who on top of having Kurama's power had years of fighting experience, that's something that we'll just have to wait and see. But the fact that Himawari kind of befriended Kurama way earlier than Naruto did, she does have an opportunity to fight alongside him longer and forge that chemistry. So let's say by the time she's Boruto's age, she should be well on her way to surpassing her father in raw power alone. Let's take a look back at chapter 52 when Kurama was explaining Baryon mode to Naruto for the first time. They didn't have much time to explain being in the midst of battle, but for the most part, Kurama said to think of it as nuclear fusion as it pertains to the sun and how it produces its energy. So we're gonna do just that. To keep it short, nuclear fusion is a process that powers the sun and other stars by fusing two or more atomic nuclei together to form a heavier nucleus in subatomic particles. Think of the atomic nuclei being fused together as Naruto and Kurama's chakra. The fusing of those atomic nuclei being both of their chakra should make a much denser chakra, being Baryon mode. But as we know, Baryon mode doesn't last forever. So what happens is the energy from this new dense nucleus is constantly being released because the total mass of the resulting nucleus is less than the mass of the original nuclei. And from that, the leftover mass is converted into energy, used to supply Baryon mode and keep it going. Well, for however long it takes for one of their chakras to burn out. So in basic terms, Naruto and Kurama fused their chakra to form an entirely different kind of energy, and their energy played as the kernels, which is the exact title as chapter 10. Correlation? I don't know. But regarding how it seems both Himawari and Kurama's chakra should be already fused together, them being one single body and soul like Kurama said, achieving Baryon mode should be more than possible. But is it possible Baryon mode has different conditions than the last time? Will it still have a time limit, or will the duration be unlimited? For me, I'm gonna say just because of how much energy it takes to actually keep Baryon mode going, to the point where Kurama told Naruto to free himself of any superfluous thoughts and to not make any unnecessary moves, then Baryon mode will still have a limit when it comes to Himawari. But reaching this limit won't come at the cost of either of their lives. It would simply drain Himawari of her chakra to the point where she's unable to fight anymore, or even unconscious. At the end of the day, Himawari should have the necessary tools and potential to surpass Naruto as a JINCHURIKI, however you see Himawari as. Some people call her a kernel to Kurama's power other than a JINCHURIKI, whatever tickles your fancy. But she has the potential to surpass Naruto when it comes to her raw power and synchronization to Kurama. But surpassing him in skill and ability is another story. But as Kurama stated, whether or not she chooses to take advantage of this is completely up to her. And the first step to that is showing her capabilities against JURA and possibly saving her friends. Let me know if you have any further thoughts on this matter. This is probably going to be my last video touching on Himawari and Kurama's potential, because I now stated it multiple times. Now it's just time to see what they can do in action. But anyway, if you liked the video and want to see more content like this, then make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and maybe turn on post notifications so you get notified whenever I upload or go live to review the next chapter spoilers. Like I said, let me know if I missed any vital points, or if you have any other reasoning pertaining to Himawari's potential as the Nine Tails host. And until my next video, I'm out. Peace.